Hello everyone. So I've got what's probably going to be a quick review for you today of most of the Eucalyptus Mint and test collection. You may have seen my video sometime back in, I think, October, where I had 3 of these scents and I did an in-depth review on those 3, but I've added 3 more to it, and there are 2 left that I have yet to purchase or review that should be coming out soon. But I figured now that we've got most of the complete collection, and it does seem like it's going to either possibly release wide or at least is in a second phase of testing, I figured I would do another review on the rest of these scents that I've not yet reviewed for you. So, Eucalyptus Mint, the original test collection came out in limited test stores, not even all test stores. Again, I believe it was something like mid-October, something like that. And then, strangely enough, they seemed to discontinue them, and they released some of the remaining candles to all sort of regular stores nationwide during the semi-annual sale. In fact, one of these here I purchased in a regular non-test store, so at that point I figured that maybe they were just, the line failed and that was that. However, now in, I believe, all test stores, the line has been re-released to all test stores with some very, very tiny tweaks, not so much to the scent or necessarily the formula, but I'll show you a little more in depth. There were just some very, very slight changes to the labels with the newer version of this collection. So kind of weird. I don't know why they would go through the trouble of testing it and then sort of scrapping it and selling them during the semi-annual sale, and I'm sure there's some at outlets still, but then redoing just the labels and trying it again. It seems very strange to me, but apparently somebody is, at their HQ is in love with Eucalyptus Mint and is, they have it that they're going to make this work, so we'll see. But so essentially it is just the Eucalyptus Mint candle that that's been around for a couple of years, mixed with sort of generally single-note scents. Now, Eucalyptus Mint, I've always sort of believed, I think that the Eucalyptus Mint candle is probably the same scent formulation as the Eucalyptus Spearmint Aromatherapy candle. If there are differences, they're incredibly slight, so they could be a little bit different, but I don't think so. I think it's probably the same scent, essentially, because this is spearmint in this candle, so it's just a slightly different name. Now, the Eucalyptus Mint on its own, that candle was first released in around August of 2010. It was a late summer release, which they don't seem to really do tiny collections like that so much anymore as a late season release. And it was Eucalyptus Mint, Green Daisy, Lotus Flower, and Peach Bellini. So of course, Peach Bellini and Eucalyptus Mint were huge hits. Green Daisy kind of failed, has since been repackaged last year and came back as I believe it was green grass or spring, I can't remember off the top of my head. And then Lotus Flower, I really enjoyed it, but we've never seen it again. And Peach Bellini, of course, it comes back pretty much every season at this point. At the time, I purchased all of them, and I didn't really love the Eucalyptus Mint. It didn't burn well for me, so I returned it then. I gave it another shot last spring of 2012 when it came out in their Spring Florals line. That one failed on me, so I returned that one. And I don't return a ton of candles, but unless they truly fail on me. But at that point, I didn't love the scent enough to keep trying the way I do with some other scents, so I've never actually fully burned through a 3-wick of Eucalyptus Mint itself. I've had some little, of the mini, 1.3 ounces, and then a few of the 4 ounces, but nothing that, it's been a big part of my my burn habits or my collection. As most people know, I won't get too in-depth into that scent, but of course it's Eucalyptus Mint, but it's very heavy on the mint. I really love eucalyptus as a note. I don't get much of sort of the dry, astringent eucalyptus. It's more of just a heavy, fresh eucalyptus that's in this with the kind of almost overwhelming or overbearing mint. A lot of people don't really actually like the scent because it seems medicinal or like toothpaste, or reminds them of a dentist's office, which I totally understand. I can see that because it is very fresh and minty and just sort of odd like that. But apparently it must be one of their biggest sellers because they added it to the White Barn Core collection last summer. After their spring collection, they they dropped many of the aromatherapy candles but kept eucalyptus spearmint. They did apparently a test aromatherapy body collection that included the eucalyptus. They did eucalyptus tea, eucalyptus and basil, eucalyptus and tangerine, eucalyptus, the standard spearmint, or I think it was eucalyptus mint and those things. So apparently, the eucalyptus mint must be a big seller for them, which is, I suppose, why they're trying to make that work with these candles in this collection. So I do like the marketing that they did for it. It's, they're numbering them similarly to the Fresh Market collection that's about to hit stores in a couple of weeks, that's currently in all test stores. They're naming them 1 through 8. You see, of course, I have 6 here. I apologize for the lighting. I know it's a little dim, but it will get better when I pick up each candle to show you the labels. It's 1 through 8. Number 1 is the original Eucalyptus Mint. So I figured there was no need to buy that. I know what it is. If I want it, I can get it. But yeah, I was really in no rush to buy that. So, but it has the new label, this updated label, but it is just Eucalyptus Mint and nothing. Number 1. Number 5 that you see missing here is Eucalyptus Mint and Herbs, but unfortunately the store I went to did not have that. They had everything except the first one and the 5th one. So that's actually the one that I've been holding out for, that I've been looking forward to the most, because I love anything herbal. So if Eucalyptus Mint works as a blend with anything, I would think it certainly would work. The best chance for it to work would be with herbs, depending what herbs they do and how truly green they make it, or if they make it floral. So I'm really curious to smell that one. Hopefully that will release soon. But again, at this point, the entire collection is in all test stores, so I assume that it could be just a round 2 test and it doesn't go wide, but I would assume since they're pushing it so hard that there's a good chance it may, but, never say anything, because anything is possible. So I'll just show you quick close-ups of them, and then we'll do a little bit of in-depth here. So we've got, if I can get some focus, come on, Eucalyptus Mint and Lilac, number 2. Eucalyptus Mint and Apple, number 3. Eucalyptus Mint and Guava, number 4. Eucalyptus Mint and Rain, number 6. Eucalyptus Mint and Vanilla, number 7. And lastly, Eucalyptus Mint and Spice, number 8. Now, you can tell the difference between the original test collection and the new one so very slightly, it's kind of ridiculous. If you look at the labels, numbers 3, 4, and 3, 4, 6, and 8 were from the original collection, and then 2 and 7 are from the updated version. And really the only differences between the labels of the old and new are the new ones, so Lilac and Vanilla. The little thing that says number is much smaller. The image, the sort of black and white hand-drawn image, is larger. And then where it says Bath & Body Works Scented Candle, on the new test line, that is included in the label itself, so right there. Whereas in the original collection, it was just below the label. It's like such a slight change that I don't see really any reason why they did it. The labels look so similar, but for some reason their graphic department or their marketing department decided throw that inside the label, make the black and white hand-drawn image larger, make the number symbol smaller, and see if that makes a difference. The other thing that is different on them is the bottom, just this label here. It says number 2, Eucalyptus Mint and Lilac there, whereas on this one it was just more standard Eucalyptus Mint and Apple. So very, very small cosmetic changes that really, it seems like such a waste to have, not thrown away, but have gotten rid of so many of the scents just through the semi-annual sale, just to re-release them with this slight difference. I can't imagine why they did that, but whatever. Diving right into them, this is one that I did not review in my original video, and I was actually looking forward to this one a lot. Eucalyptus Mint and Lilac, number 2, and the notes. When the unforgettable scent of lilac flowers conspires with invigorating eucalyptus mint, a romantic floral fragrance blossoms. Now, lilac is one of the best florals, I think, that Slatkin or Bath & Body Works has. I've actually only purchased it, I think, once, but it's strong, it's spot on, it really is a true, authentic lilac, and it's just generally really, really nice. And this surprisingly kind of works. It's, your typical, if you know lilac blossom, it smells very, very similar to lilac blossom. This is one of the blends that I think they actually got right. A lot of these blends are very heavy, like 70% eucalyptus mint, 30% something else, whereas this one is much more evenly blended, and almost even a little heavier on the lilac, maybe like 65 or 70% lilac with 30 or 35% of the Eucalyptus Mint, which is good because you don't want it to overpower you, because otherwise it kind of just smells like the same candle over and over with just the tiniest change, which no one needs eight candles that are that similar. But yeah, it's very nice, surprisingly. I don't really have a need or desire for it. I don't know when I would burn this versus burning the standard lilac blossom. I can't imagine being someone, as far as the marketing is concerned, I can't imagine someone liking this and not liking the other one, or vice versa, or thinking, oh, I need both of them. So really I don't understand why they would have the need for both of these, because if you like one, you like the other, but you don't need both. So to get a sale to that person who likes it, they just need the one candle from one line. So I really don't understand that, but it's nice. It's the lilac floral with a little bit of the Eucalyptus Mint thrown in there. I don't get much of the eucalyptus, really. It's more the mint. But anytime these are saying eucalyptus and mint, it really is truly the exact Eucalyptus Mint blend that you've already smelled in the store. Nothing new or groundbreaking. The next one, Eucalyptus Mint and Apple number 3. Notes on it, and perhaps the notes are a little, worded differently with the new collection, I'm not sure. But this one is crisp, crunchy notes of Macintosh apples mixed with Eucalyptus Mint, resulting in a delightful and bright fruit fragrance. Now, I remember I have a much more in-depth review of the 3 of these from a couple months back. If you want to see those, it's probably a longer video than this will be. But it's kind of weird, I love apple scents. They've done a lot of them. They usually work, not always. But with this, it's got the apple, but the Eucalyptus Mint kind of throws on a weird sort of fakeness, making it smell a little artificial or plasticky. It reminds me a little bit of the farm stand apple from the fall, which I didn't like as much as the true autumn apple that they had in years past in the fall collections. So the mint, I don't really know that I like apple with mint. They kind of clash. They're not complementary fragrances. And again, apple for me usually is more of a fall scent. I could get into doing, drenched apple flower I actually love, which doesn't seem like it's coming back this year. But that's a great apple-ish scent, and that's a spring scent. So if it's done correctly, apple can be a year-round scent. But something where it's straight up sort of a plain apple with another plain, minty herbal thrown in, doesn't really have a place. I wouldn't know when to put this out and when to burn this. Interestingly, there's something strange with this candle. I just noticed. I haven't burned this, but it almost looks as if there was wax. It was a candle that they threw like a little bit more wax on after it hardened or something. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't show up very well on the camera. Let's see if we get it that way. But it really is like, it doesn't look like it melted after the fact. It looks like there was a candle and they just put another, maybe it wasn't up to weight or something, that they added another, fifth of an ounce or something on top of that wax, but I thought it was a little strange. So that's that. It's, again, don't love it, don't hate it. Kind of purchased it for the, the test factor, the uniqueness factor. I'm guilty as anyone of, getting excited when there's something new or rare that may not release wide. I do like to smell it and review it for you guys, but it's not something I'll probably buy again once I burn through that one, if I get to it. Next up, Eucalyptus Mint and Guava, number 4. The notes on that one: the scent of guava, fresh from the tree, transforms invigorating eucalyptus mint into a mouth-watering tropical scent. Again, I did a more in-depth review on this, including sort of describing what guava really is, since a lot of people, at least in the States, may not really be overly familiar with what guava is. Check out my other video for more in-depth on that. Now this, to me, now that I'm smelling it again, at the time, and I think still, it reminds me very heavily, surprisingly, of Island Nectar. I think it's Island Nectar. Yeah, because I couldn't remember at the time if it was Island Nectar or Caribbean Salsa, because I get and Caribbean Escape. I get those 3 sort of mixed up in my head, although I do prefer Island Nectar the most. And this, there must be guava in that, because I'm getting heavy notes of that. The guava in this, I suppose in a good way, kind of covers the Eucalyptus Mint scent more than in some of the other blends here, certainly more than in the apple. So it's sort of like a fresher, lighter island nectar, not as sweet and juicy and bright. Kind of just you've got that mint there that like sometimes you notice and sometimes you don't, but every once in a while it'll hit you in the back of the nose. So it's kind of strange. Again, I don't know why they chose guava if they wanted to make it tropical. It just doesn't make sense to me. But you know, if you love guava or scents like that, or you love island nectar, perhaps you'll like this. It's really hard to say. Moving on to what might be my favorite. It's the only one I actually have two of, if that means anything. Eucalyptus Mint and Rain, number 6. Now I like, as you've seen from my videos if you are a regular watcher, I like the conceptual sense, the blends that are a little bit more complex, that aren't necessarily just a duplicate of a flower or of a food or something like that. So Rain really intrigues me because it could be many things. And with this, they say here just the cooling scent of raindrops is the perfect match for invigorating eucalyptus mint, creating a lush, fresh fragrance. Which I agree. I think this one in my head, before I smell it at least, makes total sense because you've got the bright freshness, perhaps with the sort of aromatherapeutic properties of relaxing or stress relief of the eucalyptus and the mint. Throw in something that they call Rain, which I assume would be before sniffing. Just a watery, clean, fresh, sort of purifying or renewing fragrance. Then that makes total sense to me. And I would almost rather see the line more like that than just apple, guava, vanilla, things like that. So when I sniff it, and look at those wicks, they're crazy. I really like it a lot. It burns nicely. The other one I have has a really nice scent throw. It reminds me a bit of kind of like Dancing Waters a little bit from the Signature Collection, which has been now banished to semi-annual sale time of year if you want to purchase that, or online purchase. But it's got a lot of, I almost wonder if it's the same notes or the same blend, actually, that they just didn't want to release the Dancing Waters candles, so they threw sort of that that proprietary blend that they have into this and just called it Rain, which would make sense. It's got sort of that fresh, somewhat floral, tiny bit of astringent, not really herbal, but just like, it's really hard to pick out the notes in the fragrance in Dancing Waters. Yeah, and I was trying to forget, trying to remember if it was Dancing Waters or Rain-Kissed Leaves that I smelled in this. So now off the top of my head, I'm second-guessing myself because I like them both and I use them both, but not often enough that I remember them always off the top of my head. So I may be confusing this with Rain-Kissed Leaves. I'm really sorry if that's the case. But I don't think so. But if you, again, I hate to keep referencing back to the older video, but I was much more, I did my research and was more in-depth than that one. So whatever I say in that video is more accurate than in this one. But overall, I do like it. It's not like I thought it'd be some amazing, like, oh, I must get a ton of them. It's really not like that. So it's nice, but it's not incredible. I really also was hoping to see maybe like a eucalyptus mint. Sorry, I'm rolling over my words here. And citrus. They could have gone a little more high-end and even been eucalyptus mint and bergamot, or eucalyptus mint and neroli, or I don't know, coriander, lemongrass would have been really nice. That would have made a lot of sense. Basil, they could have done tea. I really would have loved to see it be more of a spa line. They've yet to do something that really hits like that. And while I would rather there be a spa line that is really completely individual candles and blends that stand on their own, think if they had, Rain, bergamot, basil, coriander, like all these different, like really sort of more high-end, aromatherapeutic to a certain sense, but spa-like scents. I think that would be really impressive, and it could be really great, but they kept it kind of basic with this for whatever reason. The next to last one, number 7, Eucalyptus Mint. And before I go on with that, the reason I was hoping for the Eucalyptus Mint and citrus is that one of my all-time favorite scents was a test scent that did not go wide back in 2000, I believe it was 2010 maybe, and I'm still waiting for them to do a repackage of it in something. They do so many repackages, I'm waiting for it, and it was simply Eucalyptus citrus. It was like a bright kind of neon greenish yellow candle, and it was just incredible. It was such a mix of Meyer lemons and limes and a real true non-dried down powdery eucalyptus, but like a bright green fresh eucalyptus. It was just, man, I think I have one or two of them left, but I'm scared to burn them because I love it so much. I may even do an in-depth review on that if anyone is interested in it. Of course, none of us can purchase more of them, but it really was an amazing scent. So I was hoping that maybe they would just do a repackage of that and say Eucalyptus Mint and Citrus, but alas. Number 7, mint and vanilla. Notes of creamy vanilla bean mellow the invigorating aroma of Eucalyptus Mint, producing a refreshingly new vanilla scent. I don't know if it's refreshingly new or just refreshing. It's okay. I mean, the vanilla warms it up a little bit. It's a super basic vanilla. There's really nothing impressive about it. It's a creamy vanilla, but again, very basic. Not a vanilla bean, not a vanilla milk, not Madagascar vanilla, not, yeah, just straight up plain, the kind of vanilla you would smell anywhere. It almost has a little powdery note to it that I'm not loving. But it's interesting. I mean, it's because vanilla is so basic, it blends well with Eucalyptus Mint to make it a little bit less dentist-y or intense, because it mellows the mint. And I do like vanilla and mint scents thrown together sometimes. Certainly people love, say, Twisted Peppermint, which is vanilla and peppermint. So, not that this smells anything like that, but it's nice. I could do without it. It's not anything exciting, but it's not offensive either. So sometimes that's the best you can hope for. And lastly, sorry, I know this video is dragging on, Eucalyptus Mint and Spice, number 8. And we see there maybe anise, vanilla bean, I'm not sure what else, maybe some nutmeg. And it says here, cinnamon, sweet clove, and nutmeg give Eucalyptus Mint a soft warmth and help form a uniquely enticing fragrance. Now this is another weird one for me because, Spice, they moved Spice into their core collection, sort of year-round White Barn core collection last summer, and they didn't bring it out again for holiday like they always had, but Spice was always a cinnamon red spice with a little bit of clove to it, but very heavy on the cinnamon, and very much a Christmas, holiday fragrance. So to make it a year-round scent surprised me, and then to throw it with Eucalyptus Mint, which is so sort of the opposite of what you think of for, Christmas or warm, spicy blends, is just crazy. It doesn't smell bad, but this is one like numbers 2 and 3 for the lilac and the apple, and maybe even the vanilla, but specifically numbers 2 and 3 where they're sort of weird blends. It really just seems like they mixed half of a spice candle with half of Eucalyptus Mint. There's really no other depth to it. It's kind of not one note, because there are 3 notes, but it's kind of 3-note. It's got eucalyptus, it's got mint, it's got the spice candle that you already know, which is essentially sort of a red cinnamon, like a red hot cinnamon candle, or fragrance. So it's those 3 mixed together. It's not, offensive, it's not a gross blend, but it's just, it's not exciting. It's not, again, and it's also one that's kind of confusing because I'm not sure when I would burn it. Is it kind of holiday because of the spice? Is it year-round? It's not like a warm, spicy sort of potpourri scent, the way that, some of the Yankee year-round scents are, like the home ones, the housewarming something scents. It's not like that because you've got the freshness from Eucalyptus Mint, so it's really a head-scratcher for me. Sorry I've sort of rambled through this video, but the whole collection is just, I appreciate it because I do, I'm happy with any time they do a new collection that's not, just a returning favorites of scents that we all, have backups from or remember from previous years. I like when they try new things, but this one just seemed very weird to me. I'm not sure where their direction is coming from anymore. I sort of ranted in a previous video that it seems like they're doing more, they're having blends and then figuring out how to market them as opposed to coming up with the concepts and then making the scents to match them. So again, if I could just put in my preference here, is I'd really like to see a spa line. Not the lakeside, nothing too overly cologne-y, even though I like those sort of blends, but just a spa line, something that's fresh, something that's clean, somewhat aromatherapeutic, not overly sweet, not trying to pander to someone who just wants sweet scents or foodie scents, but just truly a really nice, sort of more high-end spa where you've got a little herbal, you've got a little bit of green, you've got a little bit of florals, you've got a little bit of spices, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, I suppose. But that's my dream line for them. So hopefully, you know, they're finding things that are kind of playing with that idea with things like this, so maybe they'll eventually go fully to that in that realm, but time will tell. And if you have any questions about this collection or anything else, as always, hit me up below, and until next time, take care.